Sure. Virginia has become the first state in the nation to limit social media time for minors.
Daily Wire reporter Amanda Presa-Giacomo is here with the story. Hey, Amanda. So let's get right into this law, a first in the nation, as Georgia just said. What exactly are the restrictions here?
Yeah, a first here. So under the Consumer Data Protection Act, Virginia residents who are under the age of 16, they're going to have a 1-hour default time limit on their social media scrolling. However, if a parent wants to override that default setting, they'll be able to give their consent and do that. And it's notable that both sides of the aisle backed this. The bill garnered wide support from both Republican and Democrat lawmakers in the state, and that's not really surprising given how parents have increasingly become concerned about the effects social media has on children's mental health. Virginia's Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin signed the bill into law on Friday, and it was actually Youngkin who's really become an advocate for parents. He wanted this bill to be even more strict. He wanted it to extend to residents under 18 years old, and he wanted the bill to limit addictive features like autoplay on videos, where one video plays right after another, and infinite scrolling, where there's just no bottom to your scrolling. Here's Governor Youngkin.
There is a growing consensus that social media is having severe and persistent negative impacts on our kids. Our children are losing the chance to cultivate essential social skills. They're encountering cyberbullying and they're isolated. There's substantial distraction in school, escalating depression and sleep disorders. Tech companies promised to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. But children are more lonely than ever.
The act will take effect on January 1st of next year, so 2026.
All right, so strong support for this bill from both the GOP and Democrats. Are we seeing similar laws in other states being put into effect?
Yeah, in states led by both Democrats and Republicans. Lawmakers appear to have gotten the message that parents, no matter their political leaning, they want their kids protected online. In California, for example, Governor Newsom signed a bill last year that blocks platforms from providing addictive social media feeds to minors without parental consent. It also restricts companies from sending notifications to minors during certain hours, like late night hours on a school night. And then in Florida, Governor DeSantis signed a bill that requires social media companies to verify the age of users and to actually terminate accounts of kids who are under the age of 14. If you're 14 or 15 years old in the state, you can have an account on social media, but you're going to have to get parental consent. If a company is found violating that law, they could face fines up to $50,000 per violation. Florida, by the way, has been a leading state on this subject. DeSantis signed a bill back in 2023 that made Florida the first state in the nation to ban cell phone use in schools during instruction time.
Being buried in those devices all day is not the best way to grow up. It's not the best way to get a good education. So we're proud of that, and I think what they've done today is going to build off that, and ultimately, trying to help parents navigate this very difficult terrain that we have now with raising kids.
Now, in Utah, we have a social media curfew. Minors there can't access social media between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. unless a parent overrides that default setting. The general pattern that we're seeing across these different states are age verification measures and restrictions for minors as the default setting, though those can be changed through parental consent.
So again, putting control in the parents' hands.
Right, that's exactly right.
Now, some of this legislation has been subject to some legal challenges. What's going on that front?
Yeah, some of these laws that deal with age restrictions in particular, they're being held up or blocked by legal challenges. For example, that Florida law that bans children under 14 from making accounts on these platforms, that was initially held up. Big tech platforms argued that restrictions were in violation of the First Amendment. They took issue with this law effectively requiring adults to prove their age for some of these websites. Similar legislation is still being held up in other states too, including in Texas.
Well, a lot of action on this issue, and it's clearly a priority for many parents across the country. Amanda, thank you so much for reporting.
You're welcome.
Thanks for waking up with us. We'll be back tomorrow with more news you need to know.